right? So you can write the bullet title, factors causing mass movements. What are the factors that causes mass movements? First factor is removal of support from below materials. Should I clean this? So you can write removal of support from the below material to the above naturally or by artificial filling. पहला मास मूवमेंट का फैक्टर क्या होता है? व्हाट इज अ फैक्टर? यहां से एक मेंस का क्वेश्चन बन रहा है. ऑल दीज टॉपिक्स लैंडस्लाइड्स मास मूवमेंट. यू कैन राइट द मेंस क्वेश्चन हियर. Examine. Pick the first word. I'm saying that. Examine. Yeah, right. Examine means you have to be an examiner. You have to examine what are the pre-effects of something that has lead. So examine the pre-effects of continuous landslides. Pre-effects of continuous landslides happening in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Happening in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. See, मैंने पहला लाइन क्या लिखवाया? Factors causing mass movements. Mass movements में landslides भी आता है. So पहला factor है removal of support from below to materials above. This is a mountain system of Uttarakhand, right? Shivalik range, right? And Uttarakhands are being basically situated in the dune sections, right? So this is how mountains, valley sections, and it forms a dune kind of thing. So this is how all the Uttarakhand is being placed off. So suppose this is a Shivalik, foothills of Shivalik in Uttarakhand. Foothills of Shivalik. So what happens? Why landslides happen? Continuous urbanization and development is taking place here, right? Have you seen, how many of you seen Kedarnath? No, movie. This is basically of cloud burst and landslides. So what happens here? See, if some tunnels are taking place for the construction. Abhi recently there was a very deep landslide and cloudburst near Chamoli. That time when the second phase of COVID was happening, Uttarakhand was facing a disaster. So go and read about that. Why it was happening? You can give the case study in that question also. Case studies are very important while you are writing about any natural disaster or you are writing about any section in economy. Let's say budget. Let's say taxation and its implications. So case study is very important. Or in polity, some articles Aditya sir have told you. Right? He is on leave, I think. Abhi chutti pe hai wo. So what happens here? Suppose we are building a tunnel here. Let's say. So what will we do? Man-made construction will be weathering this. Okay? निकालेंगे, एक्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे. So here the tunnel will form, but what will happen ultimately? This section will fall some fractures. The upper section will fall some minute fractures, right? And after that, water is pouring inside. Some man-made, first precum man-made section is being applied here, and then what will happen? The fractures will be filled up of water. This water will activate in the upper section, the fracture will be broader, and then what will happen? The mass wasting will took place, means continuous deposits of rock will fall on the surface and landslide will took place, right? So uneven urbanization and developmental projects that are being taking place in Uttarakhand without revising the geographical implications is a very serious issue and challenging issue in our country, right? So first factor means removal of base support. Base support remove कर दिया हमने. We remove the base support and what will happen? The top will be moved to the surface because of the activity of gravity. कोई भी चीज नीचे गिर जाएगी. Next factor, increase in gradient and height of slopes. Increase in gradient and height of slopes. Gradient मतलब, what is the meaning of gradient? Rock. A part of rock is gradient, right? And what is slope? The steep notch part, right? Angles, slope. So second factor of mass movement is if the slope is very steep and the gradient deposits increases here, right? So what will happen? Gravity will work here. Suddenly everything will fall on surface, right? Second point clear, factors. Third, overloading through addition of materials naturally or by artificial filling. पहला था removal, दूसरे में overloading. सेम वही क्या करते हैं, लैंडस्लाइड्स इसलिए भी आ रहा है कि जो भी पहाड़ का कट बन रहा है टनल बनाने के लिए, वट एवर द कट्स आर बीइंग ट्रेंचेड आउट ऑफ द रॉक और द माउंटेन एरिया, it is being overloaded to some other surface. Then if it is overloaded, what will happen? The movement will take place in mass wasting. So third is overloading, okay? Overloading through addition of materials naturally or by artificial filling. Now, ये तो man-made था. Fourth point of factor, overloading due to heavy rainfall. Fourth point of mass movement is overloading due to heavy rainfall, saturation and lubrication of slope materials. What will happen because of water? Suppose it is a mountain. So continuous rainfall is happening. Yes. Here are the deposits of granules or gradients. So what will happen here? The slope was not lubricant. Okay. So what will happen? The water will make it slippery, right? The slip will occur between these gradients as well. So this slip will lead the mass movement to the surface. So heavy rainfall, geomorphic agent, helped in the pre-effect, and then gravity will work on it. Okay. Now fifth, removal of materials from the surface and loaded back to the mountain lump. अब क्या हुआ, लैंडस्लाइड से बचने के लिए थोड़ा सा गिरा तो वापस उसको ऊपर कर दिए, राइट? इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्सपैंडिंग इट इनटू द वाइडर सरफेस, व्हाट वी डिड, वापस से उठा के ऊपर कर दो. अगेन व्हाट विल हैपन, इट विल फॉल ऑन द surface. Now sixth is your occurrence of earthquakes. Occurrence of earthquakes or volcanic explosion or chemical reaction Some chemical reactions are being taking place in between the mountains. Why it is being taking place in between the mountains? So that if it falls out, अगर कोई गड़बड़ी होती है, if it falls out, so the rupture or the damage is between the mountains only. Then also the shaking or the turbulence makes the landslides or other mass movements in the backside of the area. Okay. Now excessive natural seepage. What is excessive? What is seepage? Meaning seepage का कोई पाइप फटता है, kahin se koi leakage is a seepage in the pipe section. So this seepage is also in the in between the rock parts of the mountain. Have you seen any spring coming out of the mountain? And you just weren't able to find the source. कोई झरना पहाड़ से निकल रहा है, spring is coming out of the mountain, and you don't find the source. It is just coming out of the rock. How it comes out of the rock? Because it has molecular spaces, na, which allows the water to pass from the rock surface, right? So yes, this happens here. What happens in the mountain section? There are seepage. These are seepage sections like this. So what will happen? Water is passing continuously, right? So this water will, what will it will done? It will make it more granular on the slider section. The rock will be in slide sections. ऐसा हो जाएगा, ये curvy हो जाता है. So if it's curvy, then it is very easy for the rocks to slip on the ground. Okay, so excessive natural seepage is the next factor. Now next is heavy drawdown of water from lakes, reservoirs. Heavy drawdown of water from lakes, reservoirs and rivers leading to slow outflow of water. Leading to slow outflow of water. So here also what happens if any lake or any origin of river is here in Uttarakhand, let's say Gomti, the origin source of Ganga. So what is happening there in the origin source of Ganga? They are drowning or drawdowning the water from the origin because of some constructional activities at Alaknanda and Bhagirathi. What was the very effective disaster in Uttarakhand recently in 2014, the cloud burst, right? So case study use in this mains question answer. Use the case study of 2014 cloud burst in Uttarakhand. What were the post consequences? ठीक है, while writing the answer. So yeah, if there is origin of river from here, it is also a mountain, so it has its own natural flow, right? If we are trying to outflow it, overflow बढ़ाने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? हमने क्या किया? We are extracting from here the water. So what will happen? It will ultimately flow in more time, or in in less time. The interval will be shorter. So यहाँ से flow बढ़ जाएगा. The flow will increase. So if the flow will increase, all the gradients that are deposited here ultimately will fall down, right? So nature has its own equations. If we are trying to falling that, then ultimately we are going to face some severities, right? So this is how the last one was. Now last, indiscriminate removal of natural vegetation. You know why trees are important? Yes, trees actually hold the debris on the mountains because continuous erosion is also taking place, and it holds the flood plains in the plain areas. Means the holding capacity of a tree is very good. So afforestation is a very useful element factor to reduce whether it is erosion, whether it is landslides and mass movements. Okay, so afforestation hai, cutting down of trees in Uttarakhand is a severe resultant of landslides, mud flow, soil flow. So you can write here continuous deforestation or indiscriminate removal of natural vegetation is a cause of mass movements. Okay.